Hey guys, and welcome to another video with me, the Stonk Dad. Hope you guys are having an awesome weekend. Now this video is going to be a pretty lengthy one, so grab some popcorn, a drink. We're going to be talking about the Tradyflow tool today. It is done by special request. I've been using this Tradyflow tool, the screener for Flow, for quite a while now, 2 to 3 years or so. And I've seen a lot of success doing it, and I've just now started to get back into the swing of things, no pun intended. Yeah, I've just started to go back into using this tool in my swing trades, and it's been highly effective, especially this last month. I have not missed a single swing trade, knock on wood, in the month of January. So I'm excited to share that with you guys. You guys have asked me to make a video about it, what I look for into the Tradyflow screener, how I pick contracts, what I do, kind of my criteria once I navigate through that tool. So I hope you guys enjoy this video. Let's check out the charts. Okay guys, here is the screener, the Tradyflow screener. Yes, okay. Make a comment about my empty room, okay? Sue me. I have a router right here. That's all I got. Just give me a little bit of time to remodel my room, okay? Anyways, so here's the Tradyflow screener. Now, first things you're going to see are a bunch of contracts that come out. I'll explain each and every part of this so you guys know how to read it first, and then I'll deep dive into the deciding factors that I get into when I get into these swing trades. So first things first, you're going to see a time slot on the left side. This is when the position came out, when the orders came out. Now, the whole idea with Tradyflow is there's something called live options flow, which is right here, where you see multiple orders come in at a time. Now, this is the basic aspect of what flow data is. You see large orders, and you can see the details of each and every one of those orders. But what's cool about Tradyflow, sorry, I'm moving my camera. But what's cool about Tradyflow is it screens all of that data and it puts it into this tool called Tradyflow, which are multiple orders with repeat orders of the same contract from different people. So when I look for flow, I don't look for individual orders on the live option flow. I have to have more information in order to kind of really see what is going on within each order, because there's a lot of noise that happens on when you look at flow data. That's why I like the nitty-gritty things. That's why I like the finite details of things as a whole of the whole market. That's why I use MarketNet Flow. You guys have seen me use that. So I use Gex a lot. And then also this Tradyflow tool is kind of similar in that aspect where I need a lot more information rather than just the single orders like you see here every single day. So what Tradyflow is, it's a collective amount of orders, and it has this order slot here, which tells you how many orders there are by different people. Now, I'm going to get into the details about that in a little bit later in this video. But basically what I really look for is the more orders, the more confident I am in the move, because more people are getting into that contract at the same time. More whales are putting money into that contract. And that just gives me a little bit more confidence in me getting to that trade personally, okay? So let me go through each one of these things, and then I'll go into what I look for. So like I explained here, the time when that order came out, you see the symbol, the stock price symbol, Uber, EL, Riley, Starbucks, Walmart, and so forth. You can see whether it's a call or put, excuse me for my highlight, call or put here, and then expiration of the contract. Pretty basic stuff here, the strike price, and then the spot. The spot is where this specific alert came out, the stock price of the alert, if that makes sense. So this Uber put came out for a May 17th, 2024 expiration with a strike price of 62.5, and that came out when Uber was sitting at $65.60. It shows the bid-ask price. Now I've noticed that the bid-ask price is sometimes a little bit glitched, which is okay. You can just go in and look and see what the price of that contract is specifically. So I don't really pay attention to the bid-ask spread. But that's a rough guesstimate of where the contract price is. So it's $580 per contract right there. You can see the amount of orders, which I just explained, how many people are getting into that order, the volume of the contract, and then the premiums put into that that specific order when it came out. Now more volume and more premiums can go into that contract after the alerts come out. So I definitely look in that aspect, but I'll go over that as well. The open interest of the contracts, the specific contract, and then the difference in percentage. So this came out when Uber was $65.60 with a strike price of 62.5 puts. So the difference in percentage is 5.16% to the downside. So they're thinking that Uber will go down 5% or so just based off of the strike price relative to where the stock price is, if that makes sense. And then the implied volatility, 40% or so. And then whether it's in the money or out of the money. And then if it goes in the money, you'll see it flipped to 1 right here. That indicates that it did go in the money, that specific contract, okay? And then you can click this little plus sign here, which gives you more details, which is really, really awesome. It shows the price action, a yearly price action looks like, or daily, sorry. And then the price after the trade idea, this is a little bit flawed too. I don't really pay attention to this, but you can see the price of the contract, what it is after that alert came out. You can see the buy versus sell flow. If the whales are still in it or not, you can see indicated by the green and red bars. This one doesn't have red bars because they haven't sold it yet. But you can see the details, the specific details on that too. You can see all these orders come in. 6 orders, it looks like. Yeah, 6 orders. And that can change as it goes on. I can show you buys and sells on a different one later on. Once we do a little bit of back testing about my swing trades in the month of January, you'll kind of see my thought process on everything. So that was just an example with Uber, the Tradyflow on Uber. Now we can talk about, sorry, I got to move my camera because I can't see. Okay, sorry. Okay, so now we can talk about the criteria that I look for in these specific contracts. Now, the first thing that I always look for is the orders. Now, 5 orders is a pretty decent amount. It's better than just a singular order on just regular flow on the live option flow. So 5 is okay, but if you guys want to have a higher win rate using this tool, I would look for ones of 10 and above. That's pretty much the basis that I always look for, and then I go into more detail once that alert comes out. So if I look into, say, something like this square put, it has 10 orders. The premiums are kind of weak, so that's the next thing that I look for. Orders are always the first thing that I look for, and then I look for premiums. Now, if it's over $1 million or more with 10 orders above, that is a very confident order. And then I start to look into that specific contract more if it's above that. So this is an okay one, square with 10 orders, but it only has about $500,000 in premium in that one, okay? So we can just go through an example of the ones that I took this month, actually. So let's we can filter through 10 orders, and it filters through all the ones that came out since who knows whenever, August, or probably November or whatever. So let's look at the ones that I looked at the beginning of the month. So I did take quite a few of these swing trades this month. So this is actually the first one that I took. It was on January 2nd, and it came out at 11:42 Eastern. This one was a May expiration with a $24 strike price and 22 orders. This one actually did not fit into the criteria of above $1 million, but the amount of orders was pretty decent for me, and that's why I looked into it. And this was a very good trade. From what I remember, I'll have to look and see in my spreadsheet that I have here. But I do remember this one going to about 20 or 30% up within the next day or two, which is really, really awesome to see. So that was a good one to really look at. 22 orders. Now, this one right before, actually, I do want to make note of this. So when ETF Tradyflow comes out, I completely ignored it, especially IWM. More often than not, Tradyflows for ETFs, specifically IWM, those are like 90% of the time going to be hedges. So just be wary of that. There's a lot of times when IWM has an insane amount of orders and it just goes the complete opposite way. As you guys can tell, January, we've had a pretty decent month in January, and these are IWM puts. most likely red. So yeah, just be wary of that. Now this NVIDIA one was a really, really good one that I actually looked at. This one came out on my mother-in-law's funeral day, so I actually didn't take this one, but this was the banger of the entire month. So if you guys know me and you follow me on Discord or whatever, you guys know that I was completely traumatized by missing this one. So this one actually came out. So this one was a decent order amount, 10 million, or sorry, not 10 million, 10 orders of above a million. So this one was a really, really good one to look at. It was a close expiration. That is something that I failed to mention. That I also look at. Now, if it's a closer expiration with an insane amount of orders with a decent amount of premium, you can almost guarantee 95% of the time that that's going to go in the favor that it says on Tradyflow. Now, this one was a excruciating one to miss because it was a 500 strike. It came out at $486. And you guys know what NVIDIA is at now. But it came out when NVIDIA was at $486 with a 500 strike price out of the money. It was about a week out expiration. Yeah, it was exactly a week out expiration on these with a large amount of premium. And these went from $390 to, drumroll please, $4,200 is what those contracts ended up being at the very top about 3 to 4 days later. I'll have to double check on that, but 3 to 4 days later, those went absolutely bonkers, up 1100%. It's the most insane Tradyflow I've ever seen, and I missed it. But it's okay. We move on. So this is another one that I took, this Marvel one. Now this one, oh, sorry, not this one. There was one right after it. Where is it? There it is. So this Marvel one was actually a very good one. It was a call. So you can see that we had repeat call flow within a day or two, it looks like, or over the weekend. You could see this Marvel one came out for 216, and then this Marvel one came out for April with a little bit further expiration. But you could see the order amount was absolutely absurd. 31 orders with $3.65 million in premium. Now this was one of my best trades that I've did this month, strictly because they were a little bit more, the cost of the contracts were a little bit more, but those went all the way up to 40 to 50% on those. So extremely good swing trade. Those panned out pretty well within a few days or so. So again, that is something that I really look for. Now, if you can, we'll go into the details of this contract actually, and you can see what happens to the whales here. So a lot of them were bought here. You can see that $5.68 million in premium. So remember what I said, that those premiums can change once more orders come through. So there was about $5.68 million in this contract on January 18th. And you can see they were holding. There was a little bit of selling on the 22nd. You can see there $1.41 million were sold, and then 800K were bought on that day. And then they were a little bit more were sold on the 23rd, and then little bits at a time, little bit sold, little bit bought, little bit sold here, up until the 24th is when they kind of offloaded a lot of them, the 24th and 25th. So you can see the buy versus call flow and what the whales are doing. Now, my strategy is always to not really listen to the whales, take profits when you guys see them. And I took a pretty good majority of these at about 30 to 40%. So it was a really good trade. And you can see the details of each of these contracts once you get into them. Okay. So that was Marvel. We had a really good month, guys. So, and then right after that, we took these CRE puts, the banking ETF. This one was a really good one. There's a lot of these, guys. So remember, here's another IWM example. This one had 31 orders, but that one was a put. So you guys know what happened there in the month of January. Mid-January that came out, and then we've just kind of been running ever since then. So that's just another example to kind of ignore those, the ETFs, especially like the Russell 2000 and QQQ and SPY and whatnot. Okay, let's take a look of these other ones that I got into. So this Carvana one actually did pretty good. It's a little bit further expiration. but it was way out of the money and a decent, not the greatest amount of premium, but it was just a way out of the money contract that I liked. It was 42% away from the strike price. And Carvana did a pretty good job the next couple days after that came out. You could have taken profits and been okay with that. It never went in the money, obviously, just because it's so far out of the money, 42%. But you can see how well these contracts do, especially if you nitpick each and every one of these above 10. You can see each and every one of these that went into the money. There's very few zeros. So if you look at these and you can nitpick the ones that are really, really good, and most of those went into the money this past month. So AMAT was one I actually looked at. I never got into that one, but I did see that one. A decent amount of orders, 16 with a decent amount of premiums. Closer expiration, and those ones went in the money. SE was a good one that I also looked at. You guys know about SE. To February 16th expiration, 14 orders. Not the best premiums, but still it worked out. It went to the money. TQQQ was actually one of the biggest ones that I got into this month as well, other than Marvel. This one went... oh, why is this chart coming up? I don't want this chart. It's super annoying. Okay, let's just refresh this. Sorry. Technical difficulties. Okay, so let's go back to our filter there. Okay, so this TQQQ one was really good. Now, even though this is an ETF with QQQ, it's triple leverage. So that's kind of why it caught my eye. That's my first thing is stay clear of ETFs. But since this one was a triple leveraged with a 2-day expiration, mind you, so this came out pretty much right at close on the 24th of January with a 2-day expiration. Now, if people are placing a bet of $3.64 million with a 2-day expiration, I'm pretty much going to follow them, especially with the amount of orders that came out with this one. 38 orders, 3.64 million. And this one went from $59 a contract. And I want to say we closed out at about 80 to 90 or so, 90, 93 or so. It opened at about $92 a contract the very, very next day. So not even 24 hours, 12 hours later, 12 hours, 14 or so hours, when the market opened the next day, those opened at about 50%, which was a very, very good swing trade, just overnight swing. And we took profits with that one. And nothing really came out. This TQQ one right after, it was kind of funny. TQQ calls came out the day before, and then they came out the day after these puts came out, which these ones paid as well. But yeah, it's just the criteria that I look for when I look at Tradyflow. I look for orders, I look for expiration, how close it is, and then I also look heavily on how much premium is put into those. Okay, we had a phenomenal, pretty much, yeah, the whole entire month we had a phenomenal month just trading these. It's been fun. I hope the momentum keeps up on the Tradyflow tool, because I'm going to continue to use it. And if you guys are interested or have more questions about this tool, please feel free to ask down below in the comments, or reach out to me personally on Twitter or Discord or wherever you guys know me. I hope I went over everything pretty simply for you guys on this video. If I confuse you at all, please let me know. I'll make another video on this for sure. I hope I didn't miss anything. There was a couple of things that I wrote down from people asking me, and I think I went over each and every one of those. Oh, position sizing. I did forget to go over that. So position sizing is a little bit hard. It varies by each and every ticker, each and every order that comes out. But pretty much if it's a little bit further out expiration with a large amount of orders, I go heavy. Like this Marvel one was a little bit further out with April. It had a large amount of orders and large amount of premium. I did go a little bit heavier into this one because it was relatively safe, and that was pretty much my my biggest winner, other than this TQQQ1. But yeah, as long as it is safer with a large amount of orders, and then a little bit further out expirations, I'm more confident into putting a little bit more money into it, if that makes sense. So it definitely varies my position sizing between each contract, but it's also personal preference how you guys want to go about it. Obviously, you have to use risk management and your own kind of strategy using this. Nothing's ever 100% too. I also failed to mention that. I haven't used this tool for 3 months, so I used it the last in September, and I got hit pretty hard on some Pfizer contracts. If you guys know, you know. So that's kind of why it turned me off from Tradyflow up until the beginning start of the year. I started using it a lot more. And it's been pretty successful, to say the least. Haven't lost a single one, knock on wood. I'll continue to do what I do. So yeah, that's it for this video, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed. I enjoy making these video, guys, especially since I'm in this new office. I gotta make a little bit more homey in here with decorations and stuff. But yeah, I just moved into this last night. It took me all night to do. So if you guys saw my setup at the beginning of this video, it took me a long time to set all that up and cable manage and all that. But yeah, that's it for this video, guys. I hope you have an amazing weekend. I'm going to upload this and then spend a little bit of time with my family. So I'll see you in the next one. See you tomorrow, actually. I'm going to be going over convergence. All right, guys. See you later.